Welcome. Here we are again, another edition of BS of the Week. And I'm joined by my old mucker, Chris. How you doing, mate? How's it gone this week?
Very well, thank you, Kev. Making the most of this lovely weather, which we're really not used to at all.
I know, it's a bit shock, isn't it?
Yes, very much so. Yeah, considering it was bloody freezing last week, and now all of a sudden we're Mediterranean temperatures. Very odd.
Yeah. What's the temperature right in the rest of the world? Do we know anyone that's anywhere else?
I don't know, but I should imagine somewhere out in the west, it's probably, and then it's someone like Patrick Driggett of the Berlin Fire might know what it's like when it's really, really warm. We don't experience it much. And then we are indeed joined by Mr. Patrick Driggett himself, a man who it's looking like he's in the playoffs. I wouldn't know what that's like, but Patrick Driggett of the Berlin Fire is joining us.
Hello. Thanks for having me. And I live in Oregon, so it's like pretty close to UK weather, here. So it's probably a little warmer right now, but it's nice outside. So I'm enjoying it.
Welcome, Patrick. Welcome, mate. Nice to have you back on again.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah. So what we're going to do tonight is something slightly different. Normally we just run through the previous week's games, but what I thought we'd do, because some of the situations we want to look at is going forward. As to what is happening regarding the playoffs, who's still got to do what, and where is everyone placed. So, Patrick, could you do us a favour and have a look at the LFC for us, mate, and see where we are playoff-wise?
Yeah. So, first, let's talk about who's locked in so far. We've got the Swarming Giant Hornets, which I think that's not a shock to anybody. My Berlin Fire are there. We've locked that division. And then the Mount Dora Massive have also clinched their division, so they'll be there. But the LFC South, that's still in play. And so there's two contenders left in the South. That's the Weasels and the Rhinos. And the Rhinos play our good friend Kev here and his Rushmores. In that situation, Glasgow's 27th on offense, 24th on defense. And the Rhinos, while not a powerhouse offensively, they do have the 11th overall defense. And, the Rhinos are at home. I don't want to spoil the optimism too much for the Rhinos, but they do come in with some injuries, and so maybe it may not be a comfortable, easy win, but certainly have the edge, I think, at the moment. Sorry, Kev.
That's right. I'm used to that.
Yeah, a 3-point edge.
No, go ahead, Chris. Oh
no, so it'll be a 3-point edge they've got, surely.
And so then we also have the Weasels. They play a very strong Newmacher Patriots. This game is probably going to be awesome. So the Patriots are 5th ranked offense against the Weasels 5th ranked defense. Oh. And then the Weasels 25th ranked offense against the Patriots 26th ranked defense. So it's like a kind of mirror match thing, kind of a true opposites matchup. The commentators have the spread at 17 in favor of the Weasels, but if I hadn't seen that, I would consider this a much closer battle. Seems like it might be a little closer. And it's just not written in stone that the Weasels are going to come away with that win. And the Patriots look good. I mean, they beat us. The only loss we have is against the Patriots. That team, when it's firing, can hurt people. So yeah. I think that's going to be a great game against two strong teams.
Yeah. The other thing is Patriots. What happens if they win?
Oh, I'll let you know here in a second. So let's continue talking about the LFC South. Yeah. So if both the Weasels and the Rhinos win, the Weasels will take the division crown and are guaranteed a spot in the playoffs. What's actually more interesting, though, is that really the only reason that the Rhinos have a chance is through maths and no other reason, because based off of their record, we have to go the tiebreaker all the way down to point differential. And in that, the Weasels are like 225 to 73 or something like that. So there's just not a realistic chance that the Rhinos, so if the Rhinos win and the Weasels lose, like still the Rhinos, it's just not very realistic that the Rhinos are going to make it. However, winning does put them in a playoff scenario, right? And so what we kind of likely have here is 4 division winners. I'm just going to make some guesses here. So I think it's going to be the Giant Hornets, Fire, Massive, and Weasels. I think, as I just said, they're pretty much a lock, just not by math. The only thing is that tiny statistic. But then the thing is, so who are the final wild card slots? So we have the Phoenix are currently 6-3. The Patriots are 6-3, as you talked about. The Rhinos are 6-3 potentially if they win, and then we have the Buccaneers. Sorry, they are 6-3 right now, but I think they might win. And then we have the Buccaneers are 5-4. And so let's talk about those games. The Phoenix are playing a really interesting game, and they're playing Coach Benson's Massive. Again, good team, right? They've already locked their division up, but 7-2, they're not like the strongest team, but they're winning the division, right? And so they're strong enough. They've proven it. So the thing about this game though is that the Phoenix have the 12th ranked offense and the 2nd ranked defense. I mean, the Phoenix are pretty good.
Yeah.
The Massive are 10th ranked offense, 1st ranked defense. So this is not an opposites. This is truly like a mirror matchup here. And of course, we got to look a little difference. The Phoenix defense is 1st against the pass, which is also the strength of the Massive on their offense, right? And I actually think the Phoenix's run defense, which is ranked 22nd, is slightly skewed by having to face Burgess, who has just getting a lot of running yards on people who don't know how to stop him. And so I don't know that the Phoenix's defense is, I mean, it's already not ranked badly, but I think their rush defense isn't even as bad as we think. Where we do see the biggest discrepancy, though, is that the Phoenix are just absolutely hurting on the injuries front. That's a pun. It was intentional. Hopefully that gets a laugh out of somebody. And it is definitely kind of an uphill thing for the Phoenix to come away with the victory. Counterpoint to the Massive rest their starters, right? And so this is definitely one of those. I think it's Massive's game to lose. I'll say that. I think that if they rest their starters, they're giving the Phoenix a chance. Otherwise, I think the Massive have what it takes, especially against injuries. I think that they would pull it off. It is an interesting game, and I would say probably the second most interesting after the aforementioned kind of Weasels Patriots game. We already talked about the Rhinos and the Rushmores, and I do believe the Rhinos will win. Sorry, Kev, but I don't think that'll get them the crown. And lastly, we have the Buccaneers facing the Sun Devils, another one of my LFC East friends. The Sun Devils do have a slightly better offense than the Buccaneers, but the defense has just not done well this year. They're ranked 28th overall, and I think the Buccaneers offense is going to have a chance to take an advantage there. I do think it's kind of going to be a close one. The Buccaneers have home field advantage though, and but they do have 7 players injured, so that may play a factor there. So all of that said, what I think we're going to see, this is my prediction and prediction only. And by the way, I'm terrible at predictions, so no one should listen to me, but I'm going to make one anyway because I'm here. So we're going to have the Giants, Fire, Massive, Weasels in that order, which means I think we're going to see the Massive and the Weasels in the wild card playing against the wild card picks of the Rhinos and the Patriots. So I think that's going to be the final. The Phoenix may sneak in there. We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, I like your optimism. What I will do is I'll throw a spanner in the works. You know how the Massive lost a couple of games?
Yeah.
Have a guess to whom they lost.
Sure. But yeah. But
the running
no,
rush.
I understand, but injuries are a thing. So we always have to so we'll see. Yeah. I mean, I think it's an interesting weekend. I'm just making a guess for fun, but I still do think there's quite a few teams are at play there. And I think it'll make the wild card round really exciting. I think there may be some spoilers.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. I can't disagree with you there. I think, as you say, the Massive will, the Weasels will win the divisional title. Whether they beat the Patriots, I think there's 2 really good close games there. So
yes.
The Phoenix and the Weasel games are well worth watching. Well worth watching. Okay, so that's your predictions, Patrick. It's all on the line, mate. Thanks for that.
I'm glad I'm not putting money down on this, though.
You'll be arrested in the UK nowadays for doing that. Right, Chris. Have a look at the old PFC and see what your crystal ball says about that.
Right. Well, I just need to check on one little thing because it was remiss of me that I hadn't looked at. Oh, hang on, can't get in there. Ridiculous. The PFC is pretty much in stone now. As you can't see the playoff teams catch it. The Rapiers effectively have won the division now. The Rivets undefeated again, come away with the North. The Eagles have won the South. The Titans have won the West. That's how it's going to pan out. There's can't see the Rough Riders technically could catch the Rapiers, but it's highly unlikely. Which then leaves 3 teams in the playoff hunt, which doesn't include me. Courtesy of the Rapiers who put me out last week, comfortably, I might add. So we have, and this is, I kind of feel sorry for Pete because Pete's the one that's up against it. The Stormers are 6-3, and they're up against the Generals, who are 1-8 and are showing very little interest, if indeed they have a coach. So they are 6-3. The Surfers are 6-3, and they have got the Bulldogs, who are 0-9. Now, poor Pete, he's got the Packers at the Packers, and they're 4-5. And they are very, very close in terms of their offense and their defense. They're both middle of the pack. There's very little to choose between them. The difference being, I suppose you could say that the Riders want it more, but the Packers are at home. Now, how Tom will play this game, only Tom knows, because Tom's very competitive. He won't want to just give up the game. But having said that, is it in his interest to win the game? Will he put that much effort into it? I don't know. Only Tom knows. Obviously, Pete's going to put a lot of effort into it because he has to win this game. And then he has to hope that the points, it's going to come down to the points differential in the end in probability. And again, it's very, very close. The one with the lowest points differential is the Surfers. But they've got the Bulldogs.
So anything can happen, basically.
So yeah, literally anything could happen, but Pete has to beat the Packers in order to make the playoffs. It's as simple as that. If he doesn't beat the Packers, then it's all over for Pete.
I mean, Pete, I think I'm right in saying, has got a better defense than the Packers.
Yeah,
but the offenses are pretty level, as you say. I think it's 10th and 16th or something like that. So
but the kicker is that he's playing away from home. So that sort of negates any advantage that he got defensively because he's, as I say, he's away at the Packers.
It's going to be an interesting one to say the least, isn't it?
Well, it's bite your nails time, isn't it? I mean, I wouldn't want to be Pete. I wouldn't want to do the play-by-play. I wouldn't want to look through it all, and But to have 3 teams all on 6-3, they've all done exceptionally well. Rapiers, Rivets, Eagles, Titans have had fabulous seasons. The Titans in particular, the way they've come back, considering the rebuild. The Rapiers, but no, it's so close. It is so close. But it all comes
the good thing is, the good thing is none of them have really got injury problems, have they? Either they're all relatively fit at this time of season.
As is my team, but unfortunately, I didn't get there.
One thing that's interesting that I was just looking. Actually, the Rough Riders have a lot of traveler attributes, and I will say the Packers, as strong as they are, their home streak and super home streak players aren't super impact players. So that might be an interesting thing to at play there, just to see how that goes. Because those levels, I mean, my middle linebacker Tate has home streak 2, and when I'm at home, you could tell does a lot. So I think that'll be interesting to see if that kind of traveler attribute really helps.
You'll have to explain this to me, Patrick, because I don't have any attributes on my players, so I really it makes no sense to me.
So I forget the exact definition for traveler, but if you have a certain number on your roster, it reduces the impact of being the away team.
I think it's 3. I think you have to have 3 travelers.
Yeah. So once you have that, it essentially kind of removes a little bit of the disadvantage. Home streak gives your player at home a level if home streak 2 gives them 2 levels, but they lose a level in a way.
Right.
So that's kind of the trade-off for the super home streak, to attribute there. And so, obviously on high impact players, having super home streak, I personally would rather not have it, because if you lock home games, like if you're Conrad, super home streak's probably amazing, right? Because you're going to be at home a lot, even through the playoffs, you get that advantage. If you just have home streak, though, it's kind of like it's a bonus and not that bad if I don't have it, so the negative I'm not such a big fan of.
Yeah, no, I agree. So what sort of obviously having first seed, as it were, on both the LFC and the PFC, a big advantage, because you can effectively just sit out a week and see what's going on.
What helps you with injuries, it lets you choose if you want to target your training, right? If you feel like you'd have to do it that week, but you want to train for the next week, you can use those points towards prepping. There's a lot of it's nice. I've never had it, so having a bye week, this is the first for me in Gridiron history for the Fire. So, or at least my coaching of the Fire. So
final question. Basically, first win bonus. Are we going to get any surprises? We've got the Trinity Bulldogs, we've got the Anchorage Bombers, and we've got the Kurnow Sharks, all on 0 and 9. Anyone going to nick a last win, do you reckon?
Okay, so I didn't even think about this. So we have the Sharks,
the Bulldogs, who we said are playing one of the playoff teams.
Bulldogs have got the Surfers, so we can rule them out.
Yeah, we've got
what's the other one?
The Sharks, who are playing the Statesmen.
Yeah, no, that one's high probability. There's a chance there if he wants to push. Lee could stop him for sure. Yeah. I just if Ben has been holding back though and decides to turn it on, that'll be interesting, right? And then what's the other? I think you said one more. I thought there was one more team.
The Bombers.
Anchorage Bombers. The Bombers.
I don't know. I don't see the Bombers doing anything. I think it's I think Ben's got the best shot there.
Yeah, I would say so, especially if he's been sneaky as he usually is.
Yeah.
Keeping his star quarterback out of the lineup. But then Chris knows what he traded for him, so it's like,
Yeah, he's probably a bit disappointed that I didn't have a poorer season. To be fair, I wouldn't blame him.
Yeah. Well, mind you, he plays the Warriors. The old Bombers will get against the Warriors, so that's we shall see. We shall see. Anyway, gentlemen, look, thanks very much indeed. We shall see you anon, as it were. Patrick, all the best, mate, for next week. And we shall get you back on the program as soon as we possibly can do, mate.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Chris, as usual, don't get too sunburnt in this hot climate that we now have. This climate.
I've been out all day in my mankini.
Oh, right. I bet the people were not amused.
Well, in my younger days, I looked like Borat, so.
In your younger days. God, what a memory you've got, mate. Patrick, thanks very much indeed, mate. I'm going to say good night to you all. Yeah. So thanks for coming on, mate.